This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. As we have discussed before, Harry and Meghan represent the worst kind of people on this earth, which are these elitist parasites. I think it's a blessing that Meghan is this so-called nouveau riche, because what we see is really the grift of all these wealthy people who have amassed this ungodly amount of money and how they obtain it, in which it is exploiting off the backs of the middle class. And what we're seeing with these man-made crises going on at this moment, Meghan and Harry have had their hand in every single one of them. But thanks to us Megxit watchers and those that have called out the BS of their grift, we honestly now get to see the bigger picture of the people that are at play doing this to everyone. So I think it is good that they are opening our eyes to what the wealthy have been doing to the poor middle class and squeezing us and stealing our money so they can line their pockets. But it's also interesting to watch how people are waking up and stopping it. So I do think that there is hope for us, but we have to keep talking about it. And today I want to talk about something called greenwashing and how it relates to Meghan and Harry. Of course, all these various problems that we are seeing happen now with the environment is a result of these elitists pushing us in a direction to where they want in order to profit. So let's take a look at greenwashing and how Meghan and Harry also have their hands in this. So, the actual definition of greenwashing is the act or practice of making a product, policy, activity, etc., appear to be more environmentally friendly or less environmentally damaging than it really is. It's actually an unethical practice where companies mislead consumers by claiming to be so-called environmentally friendly or sustainable. And with this whole push for climate change and getting governments on board to also push that by pushing regulations, we're starting to see consumers change their consumption habits to reduce their environmental impact. And what we're seeing as part of the grift is that companies now have a financial incentive to be more environmentally responsible. What it boils down to, as like the CEO of BlackRock says, Larry Fink, that they are the ones who drive behavior. So there are many types of greenwashing. One of the most relevant ones that you would recognize is called green labeling, which is a tactic whereby a business is calling something green or sustainable, but a closer examination at it reveals that their words are misleading. Other phases of greenwashing include greenhushing, which is a deliberate form of underreporting used to conceal a company's genuine sustainability situation. By downplaying their environmental impact, companies may attempt to create a false impression of being more sustainable than they truly are. We could also say that about countries like China. Then there is green rinsing, which is the practice of changing targets or goals before achieving them. This tactic can create the illusion of progress without actually implementing any significant changes. Now, the next one, green shifting, I think could be applied to the World Economic Forum members, in which deflecting attention from their own environmental impact by suggesting that the responsibility for sustainability lies with consumers changing their behavior. A great example is this shift and forcing us into eating this bioengineered food, as well as eating bugs pushed into these 15-minute cities. If you notice, all of these are transformative industries that are now up and coming that people are investing in. So what are they doing? Creating this man-made crisis to say, no, we really need to come together for the planet and for the future and do this together. But meanwhile, you have these globalists who are doing the exact opposite. And we clearly see that with Meghan and Harry. Now, this last phase of greenwashing is one that we're going to focus on in today's video. And green crowding means when organizations come together as a collective to drive change, but then make minimal headway. This might make them look like they are taking responsibility, but progress is slow and lacks significance. Anyone think of a business endeavor that Meghan and Harry have been on that may appear like a green crowding? If you've guessed Travelist, then you are right. A little fun fact that may show up on Jeopardy one day is that the Travalyst website is made by the same people who made the Sussex.com website as well as the Archwell.com, and I believe the TIG as well. So, Megan's sticky little fingers are all over this. Anyhow, I digress. Last week, Travelist made an announcement that MasterCard and Sabre now have joined the Travelist Coalition. This was quietly announced with not much fanfare, and I wonder if that was done on purpose, because the negative attention that Harry was getting for losing his security case would have probably backlashed onto this announcement with calling Harry a hypocrite because he flies private everywhere. So, in efforts to not soil the relationship between MasterCard and Sabre in this coalition, I think that they announced this on the down low as a result of probably the backlash that would have came had they made it so public like they have done in the past with everything else. And this is what the press release says. February 29th out of London. Travalyst, the not-for-profit organization founded by Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, today welcomes MasterCard and Sabre to its coalition. I'm going to pause right there. So this not-for-profit organization is not the same as a charity organization. Many people are saying, Travalyst is not listed as a charity in the UK Charity Commission, and that's true. It's not. Apparently, there is a difference between not-for-profit and charity definitions within the United Kingdom. It's not the same over here. Like if you call an organization a not-for-profit, it is either considered a foundation or a charity, which is entitled to certain tax relief. But I'm going to get into this a little bit more in just a minute. Let me continue this. MasterCard and Sabre join other leading travel and technology brands in the Travelist Coalition, including Amadeus, Booking.com, Expedia Group, Google Skyscanner, Travelport, Trip.com Group, TripAdvisor, and Visa. The group, which represents a combined market cap of almost $3 trillion, aims to bring sustainability information to the mainstream to help people make better travel choices. The addition of MasterCard and Sabre will help accelerate that ambition. MasterCard is a global technology company in the payments industry, with a mission of powering an inclusive digital economy where both people and planet prosper. Using secure data and networks, partnerships, and passion, MasterCard is focused on partnering across the public, private, and social sectors to drive new solutions that combat climate change. Sabre is a leading technology provider to the travel industry, specializing in delivering modern retailing, distribution, and fulfillment technology for airlines, hoteliers, agencies, and other travel partners around the globe. Sabre is committed to building towards a better tomorrow, enabling responsible travel choices for all. Travelist said, the addition of MasterCard and Sabre aligns with our partnership strategy and adds further scale to our mission. Bringing a payments technology leader on board, as well as enhancing our presence among key technology providers to the travel industry, means we are strategically poised to deliver on our mission to mainstream sustainability information within the travel industry to help drive change. At MasterCard, we envision a world where each swipe, click, or tap provides businesses and consumers with the opportunity to make more sustainable choices, said Chad Wallace, Global Head of Commercial Solutions, MasterCard. By joining the Travelist Coalition, we can further activate the power of our global network, insights, and technologies to empower travelers to better understand the environmental impact of their business and leisure trips. So there's good and bad with Harry being attached to this company. And what I mean by the good part is that we know that Harry is a manipulative liar in which everything that he has done so far in his endeavors has been about exploiting others. This should be no different, hence the reason why we're able to look at this a little bit closer to realize that the agenda is not really what it seems on the surface. And the reason why I bring up this greenwashing is because this is a prime example of greenwashing in our face. According to them, based off of whatever bias reports that they put together, they say that consumers want to travel more sustainably, and sustainably is a top priority for the corporate travel industry as well. Travelist works to deliver clear, consistent, and credible sustainability information at scale to enable people to make better travel choices. For example, the same flight emissions estimates are now available across the majority of Travelist partner platforms. The lower emitting flight is flagged, which empowers the person booking travel to select a flight with lower than average emissions, reducing the impact of their trip. Well, that sounds all wonderful, but being that Google is a partner of them, and back in 2022, they were called out and put on blast. Originally exposed by the BBC was that Google had been accused of airbrushing aviation emissions after the company changed its flight search engine to half the CO2 emissions attributed by any group. And in this report, Google was intentionally minimizing the reported environmental impact of flights because its calculations were not comprehensive and specifically did not include contrail impacts. All of these global companies have their own agenda and using this climate hoax as a front in order to do it, whether it be gain your data, to be able to track you, to measure you, and to be able to sell things to you so they can make money. This is what this is all about. So the bigger question that we have here is, how does Harry make money from all of this? As it says, it is a nonprofit company, which I'd like to raise the point that nonprofit versus charity are two separate meanings in the UK, as opposed to in the United States, not-for-profit and charity are the same thing in the tax code. So in the UK, a not-for-profit organization is a catch-all term for organizations that are, unsurprisingly, not-for-profit, meaning that their activities are not for financial benefit of any individual or board of directors. Fair and point. Here's the catch in what I see happening here. There's something truly fishy going on here. So a little less than 2 weeks ago, Travelist had posted its annual list of accounts in which this director's reports state that the principal activity of Travelist is to promote global awareness of the importance of sustainable tourism by aligning the world's leading travel brands on how to report sustainability across their platforms in ways that help consumers make better decisions. On the surface, that's what this company is supposed to be doing. This company reeks of deceit because why would these large tech companies join together in a coalition under Harry's company if Harry wasn't getting a piece of the pie? Now, when you look at how they set this company up, it's listed as 1, not-for-profit, and 2, a small company. So does anybody know the requirements to be called a small company? Let's take a look. So in order to qualify to be a small company, you have to meet the criteria of 2 bullet points. So either turnover of 10.2 million pounds or less, or 5.1 million or less on its balance sheet, and 50 employees or less. Well, Travalyst lists only 6 employees, and on its balance sheet, it comes nowhere close to money that they're talking about. So what are the benefits of being classified as a small company? Well, a main benefit here is that you can use the exemption to not be audited. I think that's a big one. But also, the company can send an abridged accounts to Company House, meaning a simpler balance sheet, doesn't have too many details on it, and less information for the public to see. Now, do we think that that is a route that Harry would go? Absolutely, if something nefarious was going on, which I suspect is happening here. Now, when you look at this balance sheet closer, you see a certain amount of money leaving. As you see, it's 439,000 pounds, so about $500,000 going to creditors. Now, the question is, who are the creditors? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Now, remember I told you that not-for-profit meant that there was no financial benefit of any individual or board of directors. So if we apply this logic here, that would mean none of the directors listed here made any kind of profit, but they're also the employees. So are they doing this for free? I highly doubt it. When we look at this list, notice the second person there, that's J.A. Holt, or James Holt, the CEO now of Archwell Public Charity in the United States. So we wonder, well, James Holt's salary bumped up 2 times as much as the rest of the employees. Could they be transferring funds over there? Also, one little detail that we should be aware of is on this abridged report, because it's a small company, wink, wink, it says here that it is a company limited by guarantee. So what exactly does that mean? Well, that means it does not have any shares or shareholders like the more common limited by share structure, but is owned by guarantors who agree to pay a set amount of money towards company debts. Well, hold on a second. It says it does not have any shares or shareholders? How could that be? When Harry is listed as the one with significant control of ownership of 75% or more of the shares. So does that mean that Harry is the guarantor? Kind of seems like it, doesn't it? So when you go back to this simplified balance sheet and you look at the line item that says creditors, amounts falling due within 1 year, it says £439,217. And you look at the notes that were listed there, notes 5 and 6, to try and make out who these people are, could it be? So, if I understand this correctly, the trade debtors are the invoices owed to Travalyst. So, we see here £200,000, nice round number. Then, when we look at the creditors, the amounts falling due within 1 year, we have £439,217, which ended up being negative, which is how much money the company Travelist owes to its creditors, which we're seeing a negative in this number, meaning that it was paid off. So could it be in order to pull that money from the account without having to pay taxes on, Harry is the one who is the guarantor, meaning that the money now that was lent out has now been paid back to one of Harry's 11 shell corporations that's now floating out into an offshore account. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't necessarily know if that's the case, but it just seems so suspicious that they're saying that they are a company limited by guarantees. So obviously there's someone helping support that. And Prince Harry has more than 75% ownership here, even though he's not listed on the list of directors. You have to think to yourself, something smells funky. And with this couple, knowing how deceitful and how manipulative they are, I'm sure they are swishing funds around. We've seen that with Archwell. We're seeing that. I mean, why would you open up 11 shell corporations unless you were trying to move money around from various different accounts? And I could honestly see that one of those companies that Harry has set up is dedicated to being a member of this Travelist coalition, in which I'm sure is parking money somewhere. And when you look at these big tech companies and they write a check to a not-for-profit, they can write that off as charity here in the United States. So everybody is avoiding to pay taxes. I think this is one big money scam. And in addition to it, they're saying that, oh, yeah, we're trying to make travel more sustainable. But as I pointed out to you, it's nothing but greenwashing, and it's all to get people's data and their business. When you look at the two biggest credit card companies that take transactions, you have to think, why are they doing this? Obviously, this is pushing towards this more centralized banking and tracking what people are spending, where they're spending it, and how they can make more money off of you or how they can restrict you. This is where we're going, folks. That's why I don't trust anything that Meghan and Harry touch, because they're on board with this globalist agenda that, quite frankly, needs to be called out and shut down. And when you look at the partnerships that are part of this coalition, they're mainly services that target a demographic that is cost conscious, meaning people who don't have ungodly amounts of money that are watching every single penny. And they are looking at those people like you and I in order to track, to monitor, to see what you're buying, in order to figure out how much more they can squeeze out of you or prevent you from doing. And I think that this is, telling of where we are as a society, because this is what these people are doing, especially when you have someone like Prince Harry who virtue signals and tells us what we need to be doing. This is the clear effort of what these globalists are trying to do with all of us, which is control our lives. You mean to tell me anyone's going to listen to this jackass who, one, is flying private all over the place? Right there shows that he is a climate denier and saying that, yeah, I don't believe this garbage. Otherwise, if I did, I would be doing the exact same thing that I'm telling you to do. Make sense? Like, take, for example, when Harry and Meghan went to Vegas to see Katy Perry. That jet that they flew on was funded with oil money. You see, Harry and Meghan love to lecture and scold us about how our lifestyles kill the planet. In addition to that, they shame us into changing our ways. This is what this Travelist is doing, and yet they don't change their own ways. That private jet likely spewed more carbon in the air than you and I do over a full year. But Harry and Meghan don't care because they know that this is a sham, and they are grifting off of it. Now, this next comment that I make is going to be directed towards the select few that love to put in my comment section that you don't like when I go down these conspiracy theory routes. I guess my first question is what makes this conspiracy when this is happening in real time in front of your face? I just want to understand, like, how am I making up something that is existing in reality? Are you living in an alternate reality? My guess is that you are and are listening to what the mainstream media is telling us. If that be the case, then you've learned nothing from what Harry and Meghan have taught us about elitist parasites who are using this climate change excuse as a backdoor method to push these fascist policies that we're seeing. It's a scare tactic based on lies and an easy way to sound virtuous without having to be virtuous. When you boil it down, it's bullying hidden in virtue, something that Meghan knows a lot about. I think we know by now that anything associated with these two is not what it seems on the surface, and you have to look deeper. And I'm saying that we need to do this as well with Travalyst, because something doesn't seem right. But what do you guys think? Do you understand this balance sheet that they left there? Where is this money going? How are they making money? Obviously, this is not being done for free. At bare minimum, there's a cost for that glossy-looking website filled with all these kind and compassionate words that make you say, but not really mean anything. Anyhow, looking forward to hearing what you have to say. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Such a fraud.